Now I am.
All right, my friend, you are live on YouTube and live in the hospital.
Wait until camera's situated.
Yeah.
There we go. Almost there. Perfect.
Thank you for tuning into the Art with the Heart and Healthcare show, broadcasting live from the Wolfson Children's Hospital Media Center. Your artist today is Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Alrighty. Well, it is that time, 2 o'clock. Alrighty. Well, hopefully some of the patients I saw this morning are on, currently following along. If I haven't met you, welcome. This is our piece today that we'll be painting, and we're going to go step by step. That way you guys can follow along, and I will go as slow as possible. That way it's much easier for you. So what I did with my board is I kind of made a frame around it just so I wouldn't fill up this whole board. And it looks nicer with a nice white border, but you don't have to. You can take the painting off the edges if you like. I just did this to save me some time because you guys got some smaller boards. I am going to grab that second plate, the one with no paint on it, your mixing plate. And I'm going to grab my brush, and I'm going to mix. Oh, I have more than 2 plates. All right. So I'm going to take my brush, and I'm going to make a light purple. So I'm going to grab more white than purple because I want to go from light to dark. So I'm going to mix those 2 colors. And I'm going to place my empty plate with no paint on it in the center, as close to the center as possible. And I'm going to trace around the plate. If the plate is too big for your surface, I apologize. You can try to make a almost perfect circle because I know how hard it is to do circles, especially for well-rounded artists. It can be kind of tricky sometimes.
Did you just say well-rounded?
I did.
You were painting a circle. That's pretty good. I think like when the cups they have some worms, they usually have to.
And then I'm just going to clean off that brush and put off to this. Well, actually, you guys are just using one brush. Never mind. All right. So I'm going to take my brush now that I made this circle. That way I know to leave this empty. I'm going to start with purple, just straight purple after you clean your brush. And I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to go from dark to light. So the further I go down, well, first I'm going to make this really big rectangle. Let me just kind of... So this whole area will be just the dark purple. And then when I get further down to the bottom, I'm going to keep adding more and more white to my surface. So I'm just going to take more purple and fill in the empty spaces. I will be telling some fun facts as well throughout the show about bats. So you get a little bit of a mix of art and school. So did you guys know that there's over 1,400 different species of bats?
What?
1,400 different species of bats, which I had no idea about until today.
That's a lot of bats.
It is a lot of bats.
Do they all live in castles in Transylvania?
I'm not sure about that one, but you're probably not wrong. I know most of them live in caves. A cave can hold, or depending on the cave, I don't know if this was right or wrong, but They said that in a cave, there's usually over 1,000 bats in one cave. And some of them don't sleep upside down. The reason why bats sleep upside down is so that they conserve energy. So they don't tire themselves out when they go flying in the night trying to find their prey.
It's really interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. Which brings me to echolocation, which is what whales and dolphins use to find their prey and to make sure that they don't become prey. They
Whales use
use
echolocation? I didn't know that either.
echolocation. Yeah, dolphins and whales. Um, but and all bats aren't blind. I thought bats were blind, but
Did you
only
know,
some species of bats
I'm
are.
pretty sure sound travels like 25 times faster underwater as well.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. That's really, really cool. Oh, looks like I got some yellow on my brush. There we go.
It's all right. Happens to be. I thought you did that on purpose. It looked like where the tree was going to be.
I will be putting. Yeah, they do to kind of make it like a brown. I'll be putting other colors in our sky too. We gotta put some stars on here, and then we're also gonna put like a glowing yellow light around the moon as well. That's actually where my tree is gonna go, so that's totally okay. All right, that's enough purple. Now I'm gonna double dip with purple and white. Just a little bit of white, not too much white.
Do you also double dip your potato chips and tortilla chips?
If I'm by myself.
That is very courteous of you.
No, I could never do that to people. Double dip out of the same bowl.
You were raised well, young man.
Actually, I'm going to make this part a little darker. And this is just the sky. All of our skies are going to look different. It's just that way we get rid of the white canvas, the white surface. So that way when we put on our bat and our trees and our moon, we won't have to worry about white specks showing in our painting.
Hey, Dylan.
Yes.
I just found out I can make some cool effects on the mixer. Will you give me like a really scary laugh?
Is that good?
That was perfect.
Okay. I've been practicing in the mirror since it's October.
Yeah, that was perfect. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy that later on.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this now just so I can hear what it sounded like.
I'm all for padding the viewership on our YouTube channel, so please feel free to watch it as many times as you like.
Sorry if I scared anyone out there. My apologies.
That was a little spooky. By the way, if you're watching out there on our YouTube channel, feel free to subscribe. Or I should say it like the spooky. Subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe.
Wait, one more time.
Oh, darn. There's that yellow.
Give me the laugh one more time. Ready? 3, 2,
Hold on. I gotta get my position. Hold on. How was that?
That was perfect.
Awesome.
Well executed, sir.
I actually like that color. Just go with it. Go with it. I guess the yellow that I grabbed from the office is very watery.
By the way, if anybody's watching from the hospital and you have questions or comments, or you you got a funny joke about Halloween that you want to share, feel free to call down to the media center from your hospital phone. The number is 28111. Operators are standing by.
I'm going really heavy-handed with the white on the bottom. That way. And I guess apparently yellow. Let me put new purple and white on another tray. That yellow keeps driving me crazy. Start fresh. All right, there we go. When we start, well, we've actually already cleaned our brush, but the best way of cleaning your paintbrush, if you've never painted before, is you want to paint the bottom of the cup. You want to make sure you feel the bottom, and you want to go back and forth just until you think you got all the paint out. And then I like to take it out of the water, 2 fingers, squeeze all that excess water out, and then paint your paper towel. That way, if you still see some of that remaining color left over, you know to redo the same steps again until it's completely clean. Because if you just swish the brush in the water, you just change the watercolor. You usually don't really clean the brush out correctly that way, unfortunately. I'm just doing zigzag patterns. That way I cover more space quickly. Man, I am actually, so I have another job, and at this other job, I was about to walk into the studio, and I looked over to my right, and I saw a baby bat sleeping on the wall on October 1st. I don't know if that's a sign, but it was pretty cool. I don't know if anyone's seen a bat. Usually if you like have any street lights like in your neighborhood, you can usually see a bat floating around trying to catch the moths and other insects.
Busy day in the lobby here.
Sure is.
I'm not sure what that sound is, but it's super fun. It sounds like a motorcycle.
I thought it was something to eat.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. That might be the scariest thing I've heard all Halloween.
It wasn't the food here, I promise.
Dangerous ground, Mr. Dillon. You never know, the chefs may be watching.
All right, that's good enough. Because I will be splattering some stars on here. And we will do that now. So what you're going to want to do is, like I said, is you're going to want to paint the bottom of the cup, go back and forth, just until you think you got all the paint out. And then you're going to use 2 fingers. You're going to squeeze all that excess water out. And then paint your paper towels. I kind of squeeze a little bit too sometimes. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, so this part is optional. There's 2 ways you could do this. The first way, the cleaner way, is to take the back of the brush, the plastic part, dip it in the white, and then dot on your stars. The messier method is to mix white paint with some water. White paint and water. And what you're going to do is, once you got that mixture on your brush, is you're going to take your finger, you're going to pull the brush back, the bristles, releasing it towards your sky. It's kind of tricky. It's a tricky method if you've never done it before, because you got to make sure you have the right amount of water and the right amount of paint. If you don't have enough water, you're going to get a lot of constellations, which you may want. But if you do a lot of water, it's just going to be dripping down your canvas. So definitely got to make sure you got the right amount. But like I said, you can do the back of the brush method too if you don't want to get messy.
I think the back of the brush method might be better for the camera, just because we can't really see.
Yeah,
the
see the splatter.
But that is my favorite thing to do when I'm painting. Also, kids, don't do this without supervision of some sorts. You don't want to paint your bed or anything like that.
Yeah, luckily this is tempera paint. At my other job, we use acrylic paint, so you really want to be careful if you do this method at home. I actually recommend using an old toothbrush that you don't use anymore and using that as a paintbrush to splatter stars. It works better than an actual paintbrush using a toothbrush. But wait until you get a new toothbrush to do it. Don't want you to get in trouble. Your dentist will be like, what's wrong? Your teeth are like different colors.
Don't use the toothbrush that you used to actually brush your teeth.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Good call, Mr. Dillon.
I wonder how an electric toothbrush would do it, like work. I don't know. If you press the button, it probably wouldn't do anything.
That is a really good question. And you know what? I just replaced mine. So maybe I'll have to try it with the old one.
See if an electric toothbrush does the splattering for you. So you don't have to use your finger to do it. All right, let's see. I'm going to do some more stars over here. You can do as many stars as you like. There's no limit. All right. I think that's pretty good. All right. As I add more. Then you don't have to clean your brush. You're just going to fill in that circle where a moon is with white paint. Because the white is a different color than the white board. So I'm just going to fill in with white paint. Because we're going to put other colors in it. It's okay if you get a little bit of purple in there, because we're going to be putting purple inside our moon anyway. Do you guys know how fast a bat can fly?
No. How fast can a bat fly, Mr. Dillon?
They can fly 100 miles per hour. Or
what?
Wait. Yeah, they can fly 100 miles per hour.
Like straight down? Or like,
They didn't really specify straight down.
That's
or
really fast.
I guess whenever they're traveling, I don't know, find and pray, going to Disney World, I don't know. They heard about the Haunted Mansion down there.
Oh, yeah. I hear that's where all the cool bats hang out.
All right, a little purple in there. That's all right. I just want to make sure I get enough white in here because we're going to be doing a technique where we need to make sure there's a lot of white in there. There's that yellow again. Okay. Huh? All right. So before mine dries, because this paint dries really fast on these boards, if it does dry before you get to do this method, you can always reapply more white paint to it. But what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your paper towels and you're going to make like a ball. That way that there's a little tail at the bottom. You're going to want to smush it at the top. And I'm going to grab a tiny bit of purple. Hopefully my white is still wet. And then I'm going to dab my paper towel on top of my moon. That way it makes it look more realistic. It gives it some craters. So I'm just going to take more. If you get it like a big blob of purple, it's okay. Just pick it up and move it to a different area. And I'm kind of making like a C kind of shape because I'm going to do yellow on the other side. So I'm just going to take some purple. And if it's too dark, no problem as well. You could just take some more white and go on top of it to make it lighter.
That is a cool moon. I kind of like your new moon better than your old moon.
Yeah, I just thought about this just now, this method, because I do it a lot.
See if we can pull
Usually
out.
when I do moons.
See if I can pull out and show the other one. Yeah, the difference there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with that one, I kind of just took the brush and I kind of just dabbed up and down around the surface of the moon. This one I want to make it look a little bit more realistic, and that way you can see the difference between this one and that one. Okay. And then what I'll do is use the other side, crumple that up into a ball. Take my good friend yellow paint over here. Do the same thing, but dab on the other side. I'm not going to do as much yellow as the purple.
Very cool. So you got kind of like the reflection of the light from the sun.
Exactly.
Very
Yep.
nice, Dylan.
There you go. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know, if your art teacher ever taught you, purple and yellow are complementary colors, and they go good with each other. So that's why I gave you guys purple and yellow, plus the white and the black. Okay.
Sometimes when I'm painting, I like to give myself just contrasting colors or complementary colors, and then maybe like just white paint so I can do different tones or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you can make a whole painting out of just those 2 or 3 colors.
Exactly. Very, very true. All right, let's see. And with the light around the moon, I'd clean my brush if I was you. It'll make it a little bit easier. So after you clean your brush, after you're done with the napkin technique, making your moon, you're going to double dip with yellow on one side of the brush and white on the other. And you're just going to go around the moon in a circle. Try not to have so much paint on your brush. We want to do like a kind of dry brush technique with this method to make it look like light showing or radiating off of the moon. So the less paint, the better when it comes to this method. You're kind of just going to go around. I leave a little bit of space in between the light and the moon. Or you can go up to it. It's up to you. Just going to go making these kind of parentheses. I'm not going to go out too far. And I'll also use like the side of my paintbrush. And I sometimes get my brush wet a little bit too. So I'll get my brush wet again, and I'll grab some more white and yellow and use the side of my paintbrush, the side of the brush. Kind of make these thinner lines. Kind of like that. Okay. Give you guys a minute to catch up while I clean my paintbrush.
Sorry, camera 1 decided it wanted to close its eyes there for a minute. I think it was just resting his eyes. Or his one eye.
Exactly. While I'm letting this dry a little bit, I'm going to tell you guys that bats are the only mammals that can fly. They're the only mammals that can fly.
What about flying squirrels? They don't really fly. I guess they glide, right?
They glide, yeah. A bat's wings is also connected to its skin, I believe. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. I just saw it. But it's like, I don't know, the body and the wings are just like one appendage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like if you actually study the structure of a bat, I believe the wings look like almost like fingers, like the bone structure looks like fingers. Same with birds.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about Superman? Is Superman technically not a mammal because he's not from this planet?
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
I I mean, I feel like it's a legitimate question to ask.
Because we're kind of similar to bats, I think I saw somewhere.
Well, we are mammals.
We are mammals.
Humans
There
are
you
mammals, yes.
go. Humans are mammals. Shows you how much I paid attention in school. But yeah, bats apparently are the only mammals that can fly. Um, and then they can live for over 20 years. That's another fun fact. And they're the second biggest mammals in the rodent family. I don't know who the first biggest
Probably
mammal
like a
is.
capybara or something like that.
Probably.
I'll have to look that up and get back to you.
Exactly. All right. Let's see. I'm going to let our, let's see. Because we are going to use a pencil. We'll do our trees. That way it gives our moon more time to dry. Because we're going to be using a pencil to trace around our hands. And then we're going to paint them in with black. So we'll do our trees. And so we're just going to, after you clean your brush, you're going to grab black paint. And what you're going to do is you're going to go on both sides and you're going to make a black line. It does not have to be perfect because it's a tree. Trees aren't perfect. We're painting happy trees. Another line on the other side. Going from bottom to top, top to bottom, whichever one. And after you do those two black lines, I'm going to give it a trunk. So I'm going to start in the middle, but as I get further down, I'm going to curve my brush and fill it in with black. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to stay in the line, and then as further get down, I'm going to curve the brush and fill it in with black. That way it looks more like a tree. And trees aren't perfectly straight, so if you want to make the trunk a little bit squiggly around the edges, you can. That's probably what I'll do. I'm going to add some squiggle around the outside. That way it's not so thin. There you go. And whenever I do branches, I kind of think of using the capital Y to make my branches. And I usually kind of try to make them squiggly. So I'll use the side of my brush, and I'll make a frowny face to begin. And then I'm going to kind of curve up. I'm going to go back to there. I'm going to curve, making this kind of squiggly black line that looks like a capital Y.
Dylan, maybe you can tell me why do we turn our brush sideways?
That way we get a thinner line. And I sometimes wet my brush too. I should have probably mentioned that before we started doing the tree. But I kind of wet my brush too because it extends it further. That way you don't have to like keep going back and forth. So I'm using the side of my brush. That way it's nice and thin. I'm going to do the same thing above it. Add some. Then I'll just do one by itself, kind of going off the canvas. Very simple way of doing trees. You could do your tree however you like. All trees in nature are different, so you don't have to make it look photorealistic. I do the same thing on the other side, making these kind of squiggles. It's good to have different height, widths and heights, so some smaller ones, some longer ones. Maybe I'll have a little tiny branch coming off of here. And then I'll have another one kind of going off the canvas. Maybe I'll add another little branch to that one. Make it look different than that one.
Confirmed, capybara is indeed the largest rodent in the world.
There, I think I heard that from somewhere. I couldn't remember. It sounded right when you said it.
I like to Google things so I seem smarter than I really am. It
Mm-hmm.
works. It works out just fine.
Sometimes with the branches, like the part of the branch that's closest to the trunk, I'll do the same thing like I did with the trunk, kind of curve, kind of make it a little wider, kind of give it some extra muscle. Can't wait to see how your guys' paintings are coming out. I'm excited.
Dylan, how many people did you say? How many people did you say were participating on the floor today?
At least 15, close to, yeah, around 15.
15.
18.
18 people
18.
participating. That's great. I can't wait to see the final product.
Yeah, and we're going to come by at the end of the video to take pictures of your pieces. That way, more patients can see and see your guys' different styles.
Hey, look who it is. It's our friend, artist in residence, Jill, came to visit us.
Hi guys.
Thanks, Jill. It's good to see you. How are things going out there today?
It's going.
All
Can't
right.
wait to see everyone's pieces and gotta get back on the floor though to keep working.
Yeah, Jill's very busy all the time.
Always.
We're gonna when we come around later and pick up your supplies. If you're gonna be watching this, we would love to take photographs of your work so we can see how great you did, and you can show Dylan how it's really done here. You're doing great, Dylan. I'm just kidding. This looks good.
Okay. Good save. Just kidding. No, you're good. All right, let me see. Usually, you want to make sure it's not shiny. Kind of holding it kind of eye level. Mine doesn't look shiny anymore. This little one area right there. If you do have a shiny area, you could just take like a paper towel and kind of dab over it to kind of take off some of that excess paint. All right, so this is going to be tricky. Let's see. So I'm going to do my left hand first. And I had open hands on that one. I think I'm going to do closed on this one. Sorry if I get in your guys' way. But you're going to want to kind of angle it. You don't want it to be straight up like that. I mean, if you do, you can. But I'm going to have mine kind of slanted. So I'm going to hop on over here. I'm going to have my thumb kind of separated, though. So I'm just going to trace around my hand. Make a little hand bat. Just so you don't get your hands dirty.
Wow, that looks really good, Dylan. Good job.
Then I'm going to close it at the bottom. Kind of making a round smiley face. Because I'm going to paint the inside of this with black. All right, let's see. I'm not a lefty, so hopefully I don't mess it up too much. Take your time. Whoops, my hand kind of opened a little bit. All right, that's all right because it's going to be painted black. Then I'm going to close up the bottom and add a little upside down triangle. Then you'll paint it black. Whenever you finish tracing both your hands. If you have a parent in there with you, they can help you with the other hand. But if you don't, you could just be a baller like I was.
Are you also a shot caller?
There we go. Yeah, I didn't want your guys' nurses to come in and go crazy when they saw your hands. So that's why we went with the pencil technique. And I apologize if some of your hands are bigger than your moon. There's lots of ways of doing bats. I kind of trace the pencil with the black, and then I paint inside of it. That way I know not to go past the line. Fill it in with black. I try to watch out for globs, try to smooth those out.
Wow, it's amazing how quickly you were able to do that, and it really looks like a bat.
Exactly. There we go.
That is one creepy, creepy looking bat.
Yes. I love Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite times of the year.
What are you? What are your? What's like your favorite costume that you've ever dressed up as for Halloween?
Well, here's the thing. My mom never. Sorry, mom. My mom never
I
taken
hope she's
us
not
to
watching
the.
this.
Cause I know she's definitely watching right now. So my mom wouldn't take me to the Halloween store to buy costumes. So she handmade all of my costumes and all my brother's costumes. I'm trying to think of my favorite one.
Wow, that's amazing, and also a tremendous amount of initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not just saying that because your mom's probably watching.
Trying to think. I was SpongeBob one year. I'm trying to think of how she did it though, but it was really good.
Well, can I ask? Can I ask in the back? Is that all right? We're fortunate enough to have two of the child life professionals here with us today. What are your favorite costumes for Halloween that you've dressed up as?
I dressed up as a vampire prom queen.
Vampire prom queen.
Yeah.
That is really cool idea. I like that. What about you, Miss Megan?
Hi, so I have a 4-year-old, and so we do family costumes.
Oh, okay.
And so my favorite one was kind of ridiculous. My daughter was a flower in a pot, and my husband and I were watering cans. So our costumes were huge.
Oh my gosh.
We were both full watering cans on tiny little flowers.
That's actually funny you said that because we also, while a long, long time ago, we did a family one too. It was Wizard of Oz themed. I don't know if anyone knows what Wizard of Oz is, but I was the Tin Man. My mom was Dorothy. My dad was Scarecrow, and then one of my second youngest brother was the Lion.
I love the Wizard of Oz. In fact, sometimes when I'm losing my train of thought, the Scarecrow song comes into my head, and I think, I could sing and be merry, life would be a ding-a-dairy if I only had a brain. By the way, for those of you who are watching, if you couldn't hear Miss Megan say, she has a great family costume idea where her little 4-year-old was a flower, right? And her and her husband were watering cans. And I just think that's adorable. I love the group costume ideas. Those are some of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna jump back to the trees and our background. That way, it gives our bats some time to dry. And this part's optional. I kind of made like a family of bats, kind of following along with the big one in the center. And you just want to use the side of your brush and make like these curvy V's going from big to small. This part is optional. Don't feel like you have to do it. And then you can also put some bats hanging upside down. So you could just kind of take the black on your brush and kind of press down and then make a line going down to that circle. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Have some bats upside down on your trees. But this part is optional. You don't have to do it. Let's see. I want to do anything else.
But how are we doing on time? 40. We're at 40 minutes. So you got probably, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes left. How about some? Are you planning on adding any details onto the bat itself, like maybe some eyes or maybe some highlights on the wings or something?
I am going to do some eyes. Okay. Maybe for the wings, if you guys want to put highlights on the wings, since I didn't really like how my trees turned out with the highlights, and I think it's fine as a silhouette. But if you want to, for the wings, you'll mix white, a tiny bit of white with some black. And I usually go like on the, actually it's probably still wet, your black. So you could just take a little bit of white and kind of go on the tops, maybe. Needs a little bit more white. You could do it on the other side.
I like that. I feel like it adds a little bit of depth to that.
Yeah, and if you want to show the body, you can also do like a parenthesis or a long capital C on one side of the bat. That way you can see the body a little bit more. You could do like a little tiny one on the other side.
Love it.
Yeah.
Little pot-bellied bat.
Exactly.
That's like me if I was a bat.
And then you should have in your Ziploc bag, have a glue stick and 2 googly eyes. So I'm just going to take one at a time, open up my handy dandy glue stick.
Googly eyes make everything better.
Exactly. And then I'm just going to kind of take the eye, put it on the top of the glue stick, kind of spin around in a circle. Okay. You can also, if the black is still wet on your bat, you can also use the paint as glue as well. And I'm just going to put one eye over there. And then I'll put the other eye on the other side. Get some glue on here, some reinforcements.
That is spooky, man. Extra googly. Love it.
There you go. If you want to put mouth, you can, but I'm not going to worry about it. I think that's pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to add highlights to the trees, you do the same thing you did with the bat. You would mix some white with a tiny bit of black. And you kind of go on one side of the tree. I'll show you on one of them since we have maybe a couple more minutes. Just to make it look more realistic. So putting a highlight on this side because the moon is right there, so it'll be hitting this side of the tree. And then on the top of the branches. So I have the highlight going all the way down that side of the tree. Put some highlights on the tops of the branches. Same thing with this one. Kind of want to do it on one side as well as the top of the branches.
I like the highlights a lot. I think it adds a little
it does add a little to it. Yeah.
Looks really good, Mr. Dillon.
Thank you, and that's it. That is it. You have done it. You have participated in our media show today, and I want to thank everyone who is participating. If you weren't able to, this video will be saved on our Facebook page. So
It's actually on our YouTube
Our
channel.
YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
That's okay.
And so you could do it later if you got too tired before our session. So.
And I think they're going to play it on a loop in the hospital eventually. Yeah, we haven't figured that out yet. Maybe someday.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay. We'll
That's
also
okay.
be on a loop on the TV. Well, thank you guys so much and have a great rest of your day, okay?
Thank you, Dylan.
Welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Art with a Heart broadcast from the Wolfson Children's Hospital Media Center. We hope you have a fantastic Halloween and be safe out there. Whoa.